The National Judicial Council of Nigeria has recommended 11 justices at the Supreme Court and also for elevation, from the Court of Appeal to the Supreme Court bench. The NJC's Director of Information, Soji Oye, said in a press statement on Wednesday that the council took the decision at its 104th meeting after considering the list of candidates presented by its interview committee. Now, according to Mr. Oye, currently there are only 10 justices on the Supreme Court bench, which is 11 justices short of its full complement of 21 judges. The recommendation of the 11 justices to fill the openings of the Supreme Court bench was made by the NJC to President Bola Tinubu, who has the exclusive powers to approve the appointment of the candidates subject to Senate confirmation. If the appointment of all the candidates are confirmed as soon as possible, the Supreme Court will have its full complement of 21 justices for the first time. We have in the studio Chief Kenneth Osemeha Esquire to analyze the appointment of the issues arising from Nigeria's judicial system. Welcome, Barrister Kenneth.
Yeah,
Chief Kenneth.
So,
good morning. Okay, just a quick one. There was a report saying that one of the appellate court justice that was supposed to also be, proceeded to the Supreme Court lost his life. How true is that? I saw the news saying Justice Joseph Shagbao. I don't know if that is right or correct, or you're not aware of that.
Or maybe it's a developing story.
I must be honest.
Okay.
Okay, but then again, one thing that's peculiar around this nomination for confirmation by the president is the fact that the Supreme Court is going to, for the first time, have its full complement of 21 justices since its establishment in 1963 or thereabouts. I think the closest the Supreme Court has gotten to, meeting with its quota is around 19 judges in the early 90s or in around the early 2010s. So what does this expectation, because hopefully a lot of people have said that when it gets to the National Assembly, it's almost going to be a smooth sail, and then this justice resume. So what would it mean for the judicial system?
Yes, before I proceed with answering that question, the Constitution, Section 230, make provisions for the Supreme Court, then approval by the President based on recommendation of by the NJC and ratification by the Senate. So, as the provision has been slated down by the Constitution, it assists the Supreme Court to push on with its sacred duty, determination of cases, like cases that arises from federal government and the state, and also matters that arise from Court of Appeal. So if they are properly constituted, or they are constituted in accordance with the Constitution, it will go a long way to helping in determining matters, because presently there are so many cases pending in Supreme Court. You'll be shocked that when you ask for dates, now you have that 2035, 228. You'll be lucky to have 225 because of the reduction of the numbers. But presently, if the approval is made now and the ratification is made, that will help to constitute so many panels and all other bodies to enable them dispense justice. And you see that cases up to not more than about 5,000, more than 5,000 pending will be dispensed to it to be determined and given their ruling.
All right, let's talk about
in speedy to expedite cases.
All right, let's talk about the expectations on these judges. I mean, one thing that Nigerians keep pushing for is efficiency and fairness, in the judicial system. So, as a lawyer, how do you perceive, the current state of the judicial system, and how do you think that it can be changed in order for this for the new Supreme Court justices to serve Nigerians in the right way constitutionally?
Yeah, personally, I'm looking forward to see the Supreme Court judges or justices who will be fair, who will be competent and bold to stand on their sacred duty. You see, present, as at present, you will see that so many people are losing hope. He used to be saying that judiciary is the last hope of common man. But with what transpired the last election petition and all the matters, the people feel that the expectations were not brought to the restate. But be it as it may, I always say the law is the law. Irrespective of what you think about the law, if you institute an action, you should be ready to prove your case. And there's one thing, sir. So many Nigerians are not aware of their rights. They are not aware of the procedures of the law. Hence, when decisions are made, you see that people will accuse justice of not doing what is right. But to a large extent, I know that I have practiced over 18 years, and I don't think, I've never nursed, not even in my dream, to wake up and say, how do I meet a judge? How do I get a case? All I believe in, I must pursue my case. I've done so many cases where my client will say, cancer, we go see judge now. Let's go and see judge. You know, an average Nigerian is not ready to do the proper thing. They look for the shortcut. I said, don't do that.
Okay, so, Barrister Kenneth, this question I know has been asked so many times on so many forums and conversations, but I'm compelled to ask it again.
Yes.
The three arms of government, the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary, are supposed to be independent of each other.
Yes.
And for a long time, you know, they've been calling for the independence of the judiciary, especially because of the process through which justices of the Supreme Court emerge. Would you say perhaps because the president has to assent or approve the nominations by the NJC is the reason why the Supreme Court has not had its full complement since inception? And do you think that currently this new, move by the president to complete it will boost that confidence that you so talked about as a fallout from the 2023 election adjudication that Nigerians have lost in the judiciary currently?
Sir, the issue is this: whether the numbers, even if the numbers are 3, but the only thing it will affect is just, let us say, the workload. But if you have only 3 or 5, who knows what they are doing, who are confident, will not suffer so many things. The issue of autonomy or independence of judiciary is not as a result of the presidency making recommendation and ascending. No, it is not. There are so many issues. One, I've said it last time, for you to be appointed as a judge, you must be ready to do your work. Irrespective of whose horse is guard, you must be ready. You see, a lazy man quarrel with his tools. That the executive is shouting at us, they are calling us, no, when you are ready, if there is any interference, no, I will not do your bidding.
But you cannot, you can't wash away this external interference.
There is external interference, and there's no doubt about it. But you on your own, how ready are you to face this interference?
But don't you think it would be easier, if the judiciary had been independent? It would have been able to, manage the mechanisms of this external interference that it's been getting. Because, at the end of the day, some would say the judiciary is subservient to the executive and to the Senate, of course, the legislature.
We are saying the same thing. If they say you are subservient to the executive, it depends on who are you. Take an instance. For instance, Nikki Toby was there. I'm just using Apex Court now, Supreme Court. Nikki Toby was there. Oguntade was there. JSCs. Pati Namani, JSC. Pat Acholonu, and the rest, they were all there. You could see that their judgment, nobody fought their judgment. You must be ready. It's not just that the judiciary is not on the issue of interference by the executive. This is a body. You are independent. If you know your onion, that you are going to do your job, nobody interferes. A lazy man quarrel with his tool. You are here now. This is your presentation. This is the mood you know you could run here better. Even if your employer tells you, do it this way, and you know it's not good, you will remain here and begin to blame him. You resign. But you always hear that resignation, it does not happen here. People do it in abroad. Is it not the same law that run in their system? Once you are ready to defend a cause you are fighting for, you don't be rolled as a mole. So the appointment or not, it has nothing to do. Where the issue lies, first of all, for a judge to work, is at the point of appointment. There are procedures. I've gone through it. If you allow a governor to make a choice for you on who will be a judge, you won't get it right. If a politician comes in and says, oh, hello, my lord, sir, this is our person, I want him to be there in judicial exercise, and you say, okay, I will do justice to it. You bring somebody who does not even understand what he's doing. Sir, let me also tell you, most times, most errors you see is based on not just corruption, it's based on ignorance. I'm sorry to tell you that. An ignorant judge, you know what he does? He slaughter justice on the altar of ignorance. Yeah. But the corrupt judge slaughter justice on the altar of favoritism.
But would you blame the judges so much? Because first of all, the Supreme Court has literally been understaffed since its inception. That is one. And then secondly, you know, because of this, as at June 2023, there are about 1,200 case backlogs at the Supreme Court.
That is true.
Which was initially supposed to be saddled, you know, at the tables of the existing 10 justices.
Yes.
So hopefully this 11 that are added would help ease and fasten or hasten, you know, adjudication of these processes. But however, don't you think that pressure, extreme pressure on some of these judges has been the reasons why they've made, you know, some of these judgments in error or whatever you would describe it as? Because, for example, and it's not different from the lower courts, be it the Court of Appeal or even the High Court. I mean, we are still contending with what happened with the Kanu judgment. So won't you say it is because of this poor staffing, extreme pressures, so many cases to adjudicate upon? There's supposed to be a quota or a ratio to a judge per case. Perhaps Nigeria has exceeded that, Nigerian judges has exceeded that. Won't you say that is the reason why some of this happen? Or is part of the reason?
That shouldn't be the reason, sir.
It shouldn't be?
No.
Okay,
even if you are understaffed, the little one you have delivered judgment, how is it? As a judge, you are standing like in the place of God. Sorry to use that statement. If you are the owner of these premises now, I am a judge. Because I have so many cases, I have to give it to Mrs. Fatima.
Sumaya.
Yeah, it's fine. I give it to her. How do you feel? Does that have anything to do with your work? The little you are given to make you good use of it. Even if you are 10 judges, the cases are 2 million. If it's only 10 you are able to do, I think it should reflect your conscience, the mind of the people, and even God, your creator, should be looking at you. But then
again, justice will continue being delayed. Because there are so many pathetic cases of awaiting trials. In fact, as of 2021, they said the total number, there were about 70% of inmates across Nigerian correctional centers in Nigeria were awaiting trial. 70%.
And let's not forget,
so don't you think this delays justice even more for some of these suspects who have not even seen the four walls of a courtroom and might even be innocent because a judge somewhere is probably understaffed and is dealing with case backlogs and is being expected to be just and fair. Meanwhile, the quota that is supposed to be allocated to each of the courts are not being met on a yearly basis or on a periodic basis as per when and due.
Sir, whether you are understaffed or not, whether people are there, I'm not saying there's no need to have speedy dispensation of justice. But what I'm talking about is this. Whether you are understaffed, the little 2 cases you have delivered, how does it look like? Is it better that because you are in haste, let's do the job, we got it wrong, and innocent is sentenced to prison, and somebody who has a good title to a premises, who have been able to adduce evidence, tender all the exhibits that were admitted in court, to would have been near him the judgment of the court is given to the other person who never even had any good thing to establish his case because of we understand. The little one you have, make good use of it. Even if it's 2 cases, do it well. People, posterity. I'm calling some people, Oguntade, who is alive now, and Nikitobi, of blessed memory. We do, non-lawyers even know about them. How fast were they to make mistake? You don't need to be in a hurry to make mistake.
All right.
But I'm not saying that there should not be need for speedy trial. But where you got yourself, where you find yourself, what do? You are not the one that we appoint.
I mean, one of the things that we have to consider is the fact that there is so much expectations on these people. Exactly. So one thing that someone said, I don't remember which lawyer sat here and made that comment, is that they're human at the end of the day. Yeah. So one thing that also people wish for is that speedy judgment, just like Sagar mentioned. So if we're now being back to the fact that there are numbers in the correctional or custodial centers, and there are still numbers on the streets of people committing crimes, so it keeps increasing. Yeah. How can we or how do you think, you know, using technology, leveraging on that would help in order to, you know, help in accessibility, transparency, and also effectiveness of the judicial system?
Yes, I like that question. You see, presently, I think there is they are coming up with the use of technology. I think there's one court, a magistrate court here, Zone 6, Zone 2, Court 6, I mean, Court 5, I think so.
Okay.
The use of technology is employed. It's no longer being a long handwriting. Just a little short, as I'm talking now, they're videoing me. If you argue, the judge raise it up, play you back, and you see yourself. It helps in speedy dispensation of justice, rather than resorting to long hand. Tell the court your name. My name is this. What do you do for a living? You have this. What do you do? And so. You depose the witness on oath. Is that not correct? Yeah. When is it? Before you are writing those, but with this technology, it helps you. The judge don't need to write everything. Just a few things, and that will help. Like this court I'm telling you about, Court 5. So I think the Europeans, they came 2 months ago. I was there with the judge. All of us were seated. We were talking. We're also even complimenting them that, you know, this is a very good one. If it can be replicated in all the courts, that will help for easy dispensation of justice. I think we are coming up to that. So
going forward, what would be your call to the government and members of the NJC to ensure that that the Supreme Court at all times reaches its full complement? Because it's only going to be a disadvantage to we Nigerians if that doesn't happen at all times.
Yes, my advice to the federal government is this, is to look at even the Constitution. Not only just these 21 judges to sit on these 1,000 cases we are talking about. It's too small. Let it be increased. There's nothing wrong if we have about close to 200 judges. Supreme Court justices, yes, 100 to enable panels will be set. And you see that all these cases we are talking about will be speedily done. And when that full capacity is also had, and it must also be people of capable hands, not those who are, you hear that JSCs with one politician. No, we should talk about people who are independent-minded. Not those who are the night. You hear one judge was with one politician. Well, what are you doing here?
I mean, that is the fear.
What are you doing there?
Talking about
what is the problem? Is it hunger? Is it not? We will leave this in here.
Let's hear some.
Yes. Talking about corruption, you know, one of the things that Nigerians in general always have the fear of is a corrupt, a judge. So there is that fear, and it tends to take out the legal system when you tell people that there is fairness in the judicial system and it's not there. So how do you suggest, or advise that the government or the judicial system in general get rid of corruption in the system in order for us to, of course, take care of our cultural integrity and also that hold these judges accountable when it comes to fairness?
Yeah, thank you. There's a saying that said, to the pure, all things are pure. To an impure man, even the good thing is impure. You see, the society has been brainwashed and the people no longer possess an independent conscience. That is why you see that tomorrow, even if you are in court, you say, oh boy, make we go give judge money. Oh. It's like the other side, we go and meet him. Because you don't even have good intention. You think because the way you are, that is how everybody is. When you live a free mind, believe that this thing must work, it will work. But when you already suggested, I beg, let's go and see these people. Oh, I don't trust Nigerians. And you're in Nigeria, you don't even trust yourself. Do you see how rotten the society is? For somebody to say, hey, don't trust myself, let alone trusting another person. You see, he has done so much havoc. Such a one has done so much havoc. What should be done is that honestly, the people need to regain the confidence of the judiciary. I also fought back that it starts from appointment. The Constitution makes for the appointment of High Court judges. at least 10 years post-call. This must be specific, 10 years post-call, who has been a legal practitioner. Because when he says 10 years post-call, I can be called to bar today. I have one poultry farm somewhere. Or we say I will have a very big gold shop. Tomorrow, hello, where are you? Ken, sorry, they are doing an appointment. Are you interested? Somebody will call you, somebody who is close to you.
Okay.
And begins to push for you. And if that is done, you have forgotten what you read in the law school. It's even different from what you see in court. This is a procedure. We are not talking of reading of just something you have not seen. Go and practicalize it.
I mean, talking about that, you know, in other developed countries, when people lobby for positions and they get them, it's definitely tagged as corruption, and then you're charged with that crime. So how does our constitution align with this when it comes to the judiciary or the Supreme Court justice system?
The truth is this. The issue of procedure, I've gone through it. That is why you see a lot of petitions. You can be a judge, you are appointing your son, and you are the one who set the panel. How faithful will the panel be? You rescue yourself from this. Excuse yourself from the panel and let others, if you know your son is coming. And who told you that your son is the only qualified person among those who have been interviewed? From the beginning, if you want to get rid of the corruption in judiciary, the appointment, the procedure of appointment, let a judge from the bed, oh, this man has been appearing before me and I like his aura, his gift of God, the way he expands the law. I want him to be the bench. The other one will recommend.
So by recommendation?
Yes, by a judge who you have appeared before. Honestly, if that is done, it will be a better one. But presently as it is, I'm sorry to say, I have seen where even politicians also lobby for you. And when a matter, when a matter from you comes in, if you put me there, I have your case. Do you think that I will not be haunted? You can't you give me a call?
That is why the lobbying is not accepted.
This brings us back to the question I raised earlier and why I really want you to say something on it, and that is the power of assentment to the nomination of these justices resting in the hands of the president. Don't you think the NJC should be saddled with the responsibility? Because by all means, they are judges as well. So who better to judge the character of a judge than another judge, right? So if they say that this person is qualified, they should also have the power of appointment, and maybe the president has the power of swearing them in to the bench. Don't you think so?
Yes, to a large extent. But that is why I talk about looking back to the Constitution. Let the president, like what you have said, that there shall be Supreme Court justices, 230 now of the Constitution. 2, that the appointment of the judges shall be by the NJC who understand their character, as you understand. And then, after having been also been ratified by the National Assembly, the president shall only have power to swear them in. That would also be better. Even apart from that, look at INEC too. INEC is under presidency. How can you get a good election? You are not aware. Sir, just
so the independent is not so independent.
Yeah, sorry for digressing. You are independent, but you are under presidency. You office is on presidency. So that would also help too. If that is done, if no interference is done, that will also help. Let just the power by the NJC, the power by the president be only swear them in. This is what the NJC have. Swear these people in. These are people we know. That will also help, because we are just a nation, we are nations of law. We must follow procedure to enable us help ourselves. Because if the society is down, like the way it's going now, you don't trust judiciary. I wonder where if you will meet me to go to court for you to prosecute the case. Well, so all will be pulled together, sir.
Well, so now let's talk about funding, because with the expectations of this new set of justices being approved, it would mean that an extra 100%, 110% rather, load will be added on the Supreme Court, even though it's supposed to have been there in the first place. This, for 2024, the proposed budget for the Supreme Court is, I think, around 54 or 57 billion or thereabout. I'm not sure of the amount, but for a long time, the judiciary has complained of being underfunded. Don't you think this would just add to, that problem?
Yes. You see, the problem we have is this. It's just a pity. It's just a pity because from the onset, sir, Nigerian society is not ready to go on It's not a matter of shouting to high heavens. We are one nation. We are one nation. We are sovereign nations. There are things that makes you to be sovereign. If you can also interfere, a government over there, interfere into appointment, has interest, and call you, this is the person I want to be there, how will it work? The issue of funding, there have been several complaints about underfunding of the judiciary. And you see, if you are not properly given the tools to work, you won't work well. There should be a good improvement of fund for the judiciary, not only just giving the money alone, let that money be utilized. Because that money too can be in the hand of somebody, and Mr. Man may not pull out the money. You see several complaints that our money has not been paid, our allowances have not been paid by, I won't call them, by so person, by so person. The question is, was the money released to the man? You can't be talking of disciplined people, deciding cases where you don't have conscience. You're accusing me of theft, of kidnapping, of rape, of armed robbery. The money given to you to give to other judges is where is the money? You see, you that preach, thou shalt not commit adultery. If you commit, you will be judged first. That is the law of nature. What you preach against, don't do that. Because when you do that, you won't succeed. People will see you are in a high place. But people who are close to you know you are suffering naturally, even though you don't want to own up. So what we are saying is that let there be good funding, provision of the facility. I've talked about courtroom last time. The only fine courtroom you have here, I'm talking of FCT High Court, it's only Mitama. Yes, go to Yanya. When I go to Suba, sometimes I'll be afraid because you see around people selling something. And one time I think somebody ran inside the court with cutlass, chasing another person that ran inside the court. I'm telling you the precious truth. Everybody has to disappear. So the truth is that...
So what happened to the case?
What happened? You have to scan for your life now. Will you? Because you are, does a judge does he have audacious?
All right, let's talk about...
Perhaps we talk about security of our court.
Yes, we are talking of money. When we're talking about strength, independent, it does not mean only giving money or not interfering.
Security.
You must be paid, well paid, and monitored not to accept bribe, not to get linked with your clients.
Indeed.
Politicians coming to you, or you coming to somebody want to bury the mother, will invite you to give talk. You don't even know your work. You have many things to do. Leave these people.
All right, you know, every organization has its own training and retraining of staffs, and we know that the judges also get to have time to travel for medical and all that, but we don't know if there is that training for you know, programs. But then talking about learning from someone who knows better, I mean, we definitely will give accolade to the international judicial system, where we see at least there are like a whole lot of step ahead of us. Exactly. So what are the things that you think that our new Supreme Court justices and also incoming. The ones, incoming indeed. Yeah. What do you think they need to pick on the legal principles when it comes to the international standard?
There are so many things. There's so many things to be done. And you look at the case of Atiku, the way he made application for CTC, you see how short it was, easily done. You don't need to take so much time. But the truth is that those ones too you are seeing, not just getting far, some of them are ready. There's something like being ready for a job, whatever that comes. You don't just go there, let me go and make money. It is not a shop right. The judiciary is not, it's not where you hang your goods. Somebody come, oh boy, give me now. They will give you no.
So justice is not for sale.
It's not for sale.
Right.
You don't hawk justice. You must be serious. A lazy man quarrel with his tools. You must be ready immediately. Oh, I want to be a judge. You must be ready within you. Before you start talking of external... the people you are talking about, look at Tibori's case.
Okay.
You look at how fast the matter was, and if you are told how much was invested into the matter, not more, less than $10 million.
Well, I think we'll talk about that another time, because
money, security, and readiness of individual. Your readiness matters so much.
Unfortunately, we have to put the pin on this one. We've exhausted our time for the conversation. Chief Kenneth Osemehai Esquire, we do appreciate your contributions on the program, and we hope that perhaps when they've been confirmed by the president and also screened by the Senate, we'll have you here again to talk more about all the developments.
It's a pleasure once again.
Thank you so much.